So I started stretching my ears when I was around about 18. If you want to know the full story there, I have a really old ear stretching journey video from like 10 years ago, I think. And I can put that up in the links above if you want to check that out. But I am now almost 30. It's been more than 10 years. My ears are, in fact, still stretched. But how do I feel about them now that my prefrontal cortex is fully developed? Before we get into the regret question, first things first, I was previously at 18 millimeters. I'm now at 14 millimeters because I had a little bit of an accident, a little bit of an oopsie daisies with these weights specifically. They have a magnetic closure, a little magnetic clasp that snaps shut. And one day I was, playing with them or in the process of taking them off, and I slipped, something happened, and the magnetic closure snapped shut in just the right spot to basically pull a couple layers of skin off. And my ear didn't like that very much, as you can imagine. It became very angry. And it became a bit of an open wound. It bled, it was really swollen. At one point, I did put in a 12 millimeter tunnel just so that the open wound parts wouldn't fuse together and make the hole way smaller than it should be. But even then, by the time the swelling went down, the best I could do was a 14 millimeter. So that's where we're at currently. I do intend to upsize back to 16 or even 18 millimeters, but at this size, really the only way to get there is either through taping or dead stretching. If you don't know what those terms mean, I do have a ear stretching 101 series that I made a really long time ago, but it explains what is ear stretching, how does it work, how to do it safely, how not to do it. So if you're interested in that, it'll be up there. But yeah, moral of the story, be careful with magnets, please. And now for the big regret question. Do I regret permanently mutilating my earlobes? No, I don't. I don't regret it, at least not so far. And if one day I do change my mind, I can simply get them reconstructed. And even if I get my ears reconstructed, I still don't think I would regret stretching them in the first place. Changing your mind doesn't have to mean that you did something wrong or that you made the wrong decision. It just means that it's no longer right for who you are now. And that's okay. Even though I don't have any regrets, and I don't foresee myself ever regretting them, there are some things that I would do differently. More so just one thing that I would do differently, and that is to slow down. Slow down. Be patient. I remember when I started stretching my ears and I had a goal size in mind, and I was just so excited to get to that goal size so that I could wear, certain jewelry that was only available in larger sizes. And for the most part, I was pretty good about it. I didn't rush too badly. I didn't skip any sizes. I made sure to use the correct methods, but there were definitely times when I kind of forced a stretch a little bit more than I needed to, when I could have just waited an extra couple of weeks. There is truly no rush, and rushing is just going to increase your risk of things like tearing and infection and permanent damage, and it's just not worth it. It's really not worth it. Just slow down. For as long as I can remember, I've pretty much always been a very self-conscious person. Having any kind of alternative modifications has at times made me more self-conscious, especially in settings where I'm noticeably the odd one out. So things like job interviews, or if I'm a dinner guest in an otherwise very, very normie and perhaps a little bit conservative family. I remember that I used to be particularly self-conscious about having naked earlobes in public, just naked earlobe, nothing in them. I was like, oh no, they look so weird and so awkward without anything in them, and what are people gonna think when they see that? And this was such a big thing for me that I would literally, before leaving the house, before walking out the door, I would check my ears to make sure that I'd put something in them. Because I was just so apprehensive about having naked earlobes in public. Nowadays, I'm definitely a lot better at going out in public without anything in my ears, usually just for very short trips, popping to the supermarket or picking up a package at the post office. If I'm going to an actual event or, going to some kind of gathering or an outing or whatever, I will always wear something, either weights or plugs or eyelets. But at the very least, I can now leave the house and be in public with naked earlobes, so I'm gonna take that as growth. A lesson that I've learned in the process of being a bit self-conscious in public and usually feeling like the odd one out in most settings, I have learned that most people, especially strangers, they really don't care about your appearance as much as you think they will. I think that most people really don't care at all. You know, at most, they might give a quick glance to check out what's going on, and then they mind their own business and move on with their day. Of the handful of people that do care and do show some level of interest, I think most of them are just curious, because of course, it's not something that they see every day. So they're like, oh, what's that? What's going on there? How does that happen? You know, I think it, for most people, just comes from a place of genuine curiosity without judgment. For the minority who are actually judging you and, you know, thinking lesser of you or whatever, I think most of them at least have the smarts to keep those opinions to themselves and not be, you know, a judgmental, confrontational prick about it. But there is, of course, like a very small subgroup within that who might say something or might give you like a very obvious look of disapproval. I find that those sorts of people are usually quite insecure and they feel quite threatened by someone who has the self-assuredness and confidence to boldly be different and to look how they want when they themselves don't feel confident enough to do that. And so that's why they try to tear everyone down to be on their level instead of taking accountability and being responsible for themselves and trying to, you know, pursue self-growth. But at the end of the day, especially as a woman, we are going to get judgment and, you know, comments and disapproval about our appearance regardless of what we do with it. So you might as well just look how you want, man. I don't think I really have anything else to share about my ears. They're just part of me now. I've had them for more than a third of my life, right? Because I started when I was about 18 and I'm about to turn 30 in a couple of months. So yeah, it's been more than a third of my lifetime that I've had them. So it's just part of Chelsea at this point, you know? If you have any questions about my ear stretching journey, please watch the video first. It's linked up there. Same thing with like general ear stretching questions about like methods and how to take care of them and blah, blah, blah. Again, I have a series about that I will link for you. But if you have any other questions that I have not covered, please leave them below and I will get back to you. Cue the end of video prompts. If you liked this video, press the like button. If you found me even remotely entertaining or interesting, press subscribe. Blah, blah, blah. YouTube things. Great. I'll see you next time. I need to go and bike to my boyfriend's grandma's house for lunch and hopefully get there before it rains because it's looking a little bit ominous.